We're coming to you today from Melbourne, Australia, and we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are recording, the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening to the recording today.
Before we get into today's show, a quick word about the Olfactive Melbourne Perfumery.
Brands featured on this show are available as a 4 ml sample in our experience pack. Pick 3 fragrances and we'll send them to you with a QR code that links straight back to here.
So you can sniff along with the episode. It's the first interactive perfume podcast experience.
And the best way to discover Australian fragrance from anywhere in Australia. Fall in love with something? Your pack includes an exclusive discount on the full bottle.
Visit olfactiveperfumery.com and build your pack today.
Now, let's get into it.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Olfactive Melbourne. I'm your host, Trent Stokes.
And I'm Robin Stokes. On today's podcast, we're really excited to have back with us in the studio Callum, who's the perfumer and founder at Perdrisât Perfumes.
Hi.
Hi.
I was trying to do something there. Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be back and feels good.
Ah.
Fantastic. Really exciting to have you back. It's been, about a year?
Yeah.
Maybe more than a year?
Yeah, just over a year, I
Wow.
think.
New perfumes, new moustache. Yeah.
Fantastic. You
That's
are looking
it.
stylish, my
Thank
friend.
you. Took a year to grow. Yeah.
Hey, Callum, just for those who may not have watched our first episode that we did with you, where we had the masterclass on Daddy, which was amazing.
Oh, yeah. That was
If you could just give us a little bit of a background overview of Perdrisât as a brand and where you are today.
It's so interesting doing a background and an overview. It's been a few years now. So because we launched in 2022 with the winter collection, closely followed by the summer collection in November that year. We're a fragrance brand, obsessed with imagery and film. And I think a lot of my background in filmmaking plays into every perfume I make. And I would say, so anyone new to the brand would have to, approach it like watching a new TV show or watching a new character. And yeah, I'd say a little bit of tongue-in-cheek here and there. But, just not taking ourselves too seriously is a big thing. And I think you can read that into the fragrances we create. We're not trying to change or reinvent the wheel. We're just adding to the dialogue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you mentioned that you started off with the winter collection, closely followed by summer.
Mhm.
And when we spoke to you last, Daddy was going to be part of the new collection, autumn. So tell us, how have you been going with the autumn collection?
It's been really fun because when I started the autumn collection, or should I say when I started the winter collection, I had a very specific storyline and a narrative. All the perfumes were created on different events on the same night in winter. And then with the summer collection, it was like a pool party, so all the different characters there. And then with the autumn collection, I was quite unsure what direction we were taking because, I released them in such a piecemeal fashion. So, it was Daddy, and then it was Coquette, and then it was Starfucker. And I thought it almost chose the storyline kind of in the world that I was building that I wasn't aware of until I finished with these 2 new ones. And I was like, oh, this is all happening in Hollywood. You know what I mean? It feels like each of these is a story from a Hollywood scene. And I wasn't sure. I mean, the Hollywood thing always plays into my mind because I feel like just being obsessed with film, you kind of naturally are going back to that old Hollywood thing. And, I touched on that with Nightstand, a sort of old Hollywood starlet on her bed, brushing her hair, crying. But I thought, applying her body creams. But I thought with this one, I wasn't really actively aware of that. I was just making really big portraits. That was what I had in mind with the autumn collection. So with Daddy, it was like, a version of my childhood perspective of my dad, but then it kind of changed into this like daddy figure, which is, again, a bit weird to say out loud, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the story took over and that does happen often with my perfumes. I start with something and then the story finds me and pulls me into a different direction. And which we will mention about these 2 new fragrances that kept shape-shifting. And with the autumn collection, and then I added coquette, and I was thinking about this modern day starlet walking down the street of like Santa Monica Boulevard, smelling delicious. Very Australian though, and it's in the passion fruit kind of pavlova energy. And then after that, we obviously had Starfucker, which was very much a loud Hollywood scent about like the promising young actress who's stuck in this underworld of Hollywood, like the modern day Persephone. So I felt like these big caricatures I was drawing. And then these two came along, which are less characters and more like stills. And I felt when these two came along, the whole scene was finished. And I was like, oh, I know what this is now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was this Hollywood depiction. So it's interesting because I do like when I go to like LA and stuff, I love being there in October. And I think that's their autumn. So maybe there was like some unconscious link growing there. So
it was certainly the picture that I got. So last time you were in, you were describing all of your fragrances, and we went through a fair bit of them, actually. I think we touched on everything as we went through. And I don't know whether you set it up this way or whether it was just what popped into my mind, but I had this picture of this pool party that was happening at a Hollywood mansion. And each one of these characters had a story, a backstory that came with it, but they turned up to this sort of party, and that's the guy who brought the party favors, and that's the guy who is about to jump onto his motorcycle and tear off into the night, and then somebody's sort of crying in the bedroom and putting on their makeup, and that was the picture that I had because you painted it so well, and you can really see your film background really woven into everything that you sort of do there. So. So I am going to recommend that if you're listening now and you're curious to go back to that episode.
Episode 5,
I think it's episode 5, and have a listen so that you can get a really strong background on Callum and on the rest of the range, because we're going to be exploring 2 new fragrances today.
Very exciting.
We can't wait to get stuck into it because we actually have not smelt these fragrances. This is our first time smelling.
It's the first time for many people.
It's exclusive.
That's what's weird. Like I feel like I almost feel like I forgot what they smell like because it has been I've kept them so secretive, and so it's nice. I think you two will be the first to smell them. Outside of my family, obviously, my guinea pigs.
Yes,
well,
of course.
We love
that.
We love that.
Very excited.
So, Callum, you know how the show works. We wrap the show around a masterclass with one of the fragrances, right? So we do a full masterclass and a deep dive on one of the fragrances. Now, you've thrown us a curveball today. We've got 2. But what we've sort of discussed is that both of these fragrances, while they're part of this autumn range, they're quite different. So one will unfold along the standard sort of perfume pyramid, and I'll mention what that is in just a moment to our audience. And the other one is a little bit more linear, and so we'll explore that during a set period during the show.
Perfect.
So for the masterclass fragrance, which one are we going to be exploring?
Oh, feels good to announce we're going to be exploring Hush Money.
Hush Money. Fantastic. All right, so we're really keen to smell Hush Money. So Robin is going to spray Hush Money onto some blotters, but also onto our skin. So for those listening to the show, this is something that we do every single show. We make sure that we spray on both blotters and onto the skin. There's a really good reason for that. On our blotters, the fragrance is going to smell exactly the same. To myself, to Callum, and to Robin. We're all going to have exactly the same experience. But on skin, there may be some variation. And the variation that we might get in the way this scent is expressed is the heat of our skin, microbiome on our skin, just our general skin chemistry can make some slightly subtle differences in the fragrance. So just before we have a smell and start going through the notes, I mentioned the perfume pyramid just a moment ago. So on your screen now, you'll see a perfume pyramid, and up the very top of that pyramid, you'll see the words opening notes. And that's what we're going to be smelling right now, the opening notes. Now, opening notes are made up of the lightest and the most volatile of the olfactive molecules. They're designed to surface in the fragrance early, but also dissipate quite fast, making way for the heart notes and the base notes that are yet to come. Essentially, the idea around the opening notes is to provide an opening to the fragrance, so an introduction, a little bit of a tantalizing sort of preview of the notes that are yet to come. This episode of Olfactive Melbourne is proudly brought to you by T&T Group. For Australian fragrance founders, the standard 10,000 piece packaging minimum has long been a wall between the design you envisioned and the design you could actually launch with. T&T Group designs and manufactures luxury packaging for the world's leading fragrance houses. And until the end of Season 2, Olfactive Melbourne listeners can access T&T directly, with the 10,000 piece minimum waived and 10% off unit pricing. Premium packaging at the scale Australian indie brands actually launch at. Visit tnt-group.com and mention Olfactive Melbourne when you reach out. So, now with all of that explained, let's have a smell, and then you can take us through what we're actually smelling here.
It's pretty obvious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very realistic.
Yeah. So we have spearmint, but we also have ink. They're the two top notes that I think are the major kind of opening players. Obviously, the spearmint is really strong, but the ink gives it a little texture. And as spearmint doesn't last long, so there's ways we had to pull that, into the heart. But mostly you got ink, you got spearmint. Because, I was very much thinking about the color green with money, obviously. Whether it's Australian or American money, the $100 bills is green. So I was like, green, green, green. That was kind of the anchor from which I worked off this, image. And I also love spearmint, and I think everyone hates it, but I think it needs some time. Yeah,
I love it. It was always my favorite gum
yeah.
as a kid.
Always.
So the double arrow gum.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about spearmint. Great, peppermint goes straight to my brain. I can't deal with the peppermint gum, but spearmint, I just feel like who doesn't want to smell beautiful and fresh?
Oh, yeah.
And it does. It smells a little bit fresh, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's very fresh.
Absolutely. As soon as I sprayed it, it's bang.
Yeah.
Really hits you. And as I said before, so realistic in scent.
Absolutely. All right. So before we unpack the notes, hush money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we can infer from the name what that might mean, but tell us what's the image that we're sort of calling up here with hush money?
The image I get is just a bunch of $100 bills left on a pillow. That is kind of the final image I decided on for this fragrance. And yeah, I think almost see it as a film still rather than a scene. So like what happened before, what happened after. There's all the secrecy in this one, but I think that's part of the storyline. It's like, why is someone giving you all this cash? What have you done? What do you know? I like that kind of almost playfulness. You can fill in the gaps yourself. And obviously there's something fun about, it's a bit of a pun, which some people are going to eye roll at, but being freshly minted is like,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was kind of like an ongoing reminder, because it's interesting with top notes. I'm not so fond of top notes. I don't know if I've mentioned that last time.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
It's not really something because I'm not really thinking mostly about notes to start with. I'm thinking about, the story, the image. And so when it comes to like the top note, which is like, it gets people in, it gets people talking. I often find, a lot of people use bergamot and things, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, to me, I don't know, I'm like, what is something I haven't done before?
Yeah.
I've done 13 fragrances before these two, so plus the other collaborations that exist in the world. And I've never really truly got to do a mint. And I felt like that was a really fun top note. And there are so many mint fragrances out there, so it's nice to have a go at it and maybe change it up and make it more Perdrisât coded.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I guess with hush money, the idea here is, or the image of that money left on a pillow is, it's called hush money because we want to keep people quiet. It's like bribery money. It's the money you give somebody so that they don't expose you, don't expose your dirty little secrets or what you've done wrong or something that's illegal, right? So, and again, that's sort of leaning into that sort of provocative thing that really is the brand, isn't it? So many provocative names, so many provocative ideas. It's something that really is challenging people's ideas, not just their nostrils, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
All right, so notes. Now, I love, you did this on the show last time, and you're doing it again this time, which is, there's just these two notes, right? No, there's not. All right, because if I've got to know the DNA of Perdrisât, and which I have, because obviously you're ranged in the Olfactive Melbourne perfumery, you've been on the show before, we've spent a lot of time with your fragrances. A note is just not a note when it comes to the way Callum puts together fragrances. So ink
Yeah.
That's obviously not just a standalone note. This is, and you are one of the kings of fantasy notes here. This would be a fantasy note.
Yeah, I'm a fantasist. It is a fantasy
Yes.
note. So I think with ink, I was very obsessed with this seems like an ongoing thing now with my mineral accords and minerality. I like to, use the texture of that into the different scents. With Money Water, it was very like gravel. And then with, Fuckboy, it was the blow note. And then, using the different minerality, I just find it like it's almost becoming my favorite part of the accord progression, if you know what I mean. So it's like, how can this one be mineral? How can a mint fragrance be mineral? And think about money. I was sniffing dollar bills, being like, what am I smelling? Not dollar bills. I mean, all money smells the same, but not really.
Yeah.
But paper money.
Yeah,
paper
exactly.
money.
Paper money, like the
Yeah.
American money.
Yeah.
It's like that inky, metallic kind of lived-in smell. And it's a nice companion to the fresh mint. And I thought, so starting with that, there was certain molecules that are just so leathery and unforgiving. And when you kind of, dose them down, dilute them, you do get different facets, to the surface. And I think, with that accord, I don't even know how. I started this one a year ago. So going back, I'm like, what did I do to start that? I think I made so many variations for the ink. More inky, less inky, super inky to the point where it was like midnight black, like a perfume that was too dark. And it was interesting because there is a version that exists out there in my catalog that I often sometimes spray back on my, I have it in a bottle and I spray it on me. I'm like, that is nice. But it was too similar. It was too smoky and it was too similar to something I've already done. So I wanted to challenge myself with this ink fragrance.
Absolutely.
But to answer your question, I'm still very secretive. Some leathery facets help the ink accord, some mineral facets which come through different, I don't know, it's a bit of a secret.
Well, this is the whole.
Yeah.
This is the fantasy
Yeah.
note, right? Or the accord.
Yeah.
We don't expose everything that is
That's
in the
right.
accord that make it, which is why you have named it, sort of ink. So,
Yeah.
for those people who might not understand what a fantasy note is or an accord, it's as Callum's just described here. It's lots of different notes that are made up to express a smell that we don't necessarily extract from as a raw ingredient. So we can't take ink and extract its smell and put it into a perfume bottle. It's not possible to do.
Unfortunately.
So if we want to do that, we need to make the smell like that by building a whole bunch of actual notes and express it as ink. And so you've given us a clue. There's mineralic notes in here, along with some leathery. And the way you balance this out, so when I smell it, I would maybe get a hint of leather, maybe.
Yeah.
Right at the very periphery, definitely the mineralic notes. And I think it's amazing how the mineral and the spearmint actually balance each other really nicely in this opening. It works really well.
It's interesting because
It's intriguing.
I feel like this won't be a fragrance for everyone. And that's kind of why I wanted to focus on it. Because, a lot of people associate mint with toothpaste or whatever. But I think giving it this sort of edge takes it to a new direction, kind of a modern, it's like a modernity that is hard to describe with the ink accord. And it's something you just have to wear and work out for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's different on everyone as well.
Yeah. I mean, I can even say, I don't know if you have had a smell of your blotter.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
But on the blotter, I feel like I get a lot more of the inky.
Yeah.
Where's the spearmint still radiating off my hand? I'm sure it will evolve, but I can already sense other things on my hand, which I cannot name. I'm going to struggle to call out anything specific, but there's hints of almost even a bit of sweetness and different things.
For sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. The I sort of said the leather sort of sits on the real periphery for me on my skin, but if I actually smell the blotter, it's maybe a little bit more prominent on the blotter than it is on my skin, and maybe that's just how it interacts with my skin chemistry.
I think so. I think as well it's the blotter is always a different experience, which is why you spray it on the skin, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's pretty minty still on me, on my skin.
me
Yeah, it's
too.
minty on me as well. And I've got to say, like I actually think this would be broadly appealing. I know there might be
Yeah.
some people who might not like a spearmint.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like spearmint, it's not going to work for you, right? But
Yeah.
if you like just a nice, fresh, clean smelling fragrance, you are not going to be put off by this at all. In fact, it's absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
I know you put this into the autumn range. I think this is probably autumn and it's summer, and it's probably spring. It's quite
nice.
versatile as well.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing you want to wear when there's a bit of heat, when the sun comes out, when it's that's. I guess
I
what-
feel
what's
like
happening
you.
for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you could even working out. You know,
Oh, yeah.
that freshness.
Yeah,
of-
gym scents
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
I like that.
Wear it down by the seaside. Wear it on holidays. Great holiday smell. This one, yeah, fantastic. So I guess if it's always hard to describe notes, especially when we're dealing with fantasy chords and trying to describe through the camera or I guess through people's ears what these smells smell like. But it sort of helps when you can give a little bit of context as to where they might fit in terms of occasion. So definitely a very casual, fresh, nice holiday, easy wearing smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Having said
so.
that, we have not got to the heart and we have not got to the base, and this thing is going to evolve, right? So hopefully I'm not getting there a little bit too early.
So I do have a question. It's, with regards to the ink. So obviously in the image, it's the printing. Oh, I'm thinking it's the printing of the money, right?
Yes, yeah.
But what inspired the ink? Like, is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking about the ink on the green, that sort of visual, like very like imagine like crash zoom into the money. You get like the kind of the way that with time and use of money over and over again, the ink kind of fades, gets a bit tattooy looking, with time. So I like that sort of used ink smell. And quite literally smelling, it's like with a daddy, I had this packet of cigarettes I would refer to. So I like to refer to something as I'm making it. If I want to make it realistic, sometimes I trap myself when I want to make something too realistic. Like I was working on this magnolia before Coquette. I was working on a magnolia accord. Again, you can't put magnolias into the. You can do the leaf oil, but it's a certain type of magnolia. The one I was thinking of, though, the grandiflora, you can't extract anything from it. So, I was very adamant. I was like, this has to smell like magnolias. And then I was like, wait, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why? But it's like that trap. I kind of trap myself sometimes. But with the ink, it was more of a fun experiment where I was like, I really wanted to identify that and hit that note. It's a weird note. I think that little pang of weirdness is something I like to do with a lot of fragrances. I mean, with Fuckboy, we did it with the cocaine, and with Love Bomb, there's a little burnt note, and then I mean, a lot of my fragrances have that little off note. It's almost like jazz music, and they hit the bung note, and that's what makes you like, oh, that. And I think a lot of fragrances do that. When you're working with like white florals, you have that kind of dirty indolic note, and you need to work on that sort of, and the way of enticing people in. And I think the ink does that because I could have just kept it spearmint, but I feel like for the story and for the brand, it just had to be a bit off. Yeah.
And more complex.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, that's what I think adds the character to the fragrances, and that's probably what makes things niche. I mean, we could say that a niche or an artisanal perfume is a perfume that is made by an independent house that's not owned by L'Oreal or Estee Lauder or LVMH Group or whoever it might be. But I think if you think about how people really view niche perfumery is perfumery that is not mass appealing. Right? It's designed to be a little bit different, a little bit challenging. It's for people who truly love perfume and want to be not just challenged by it, but they want to really think about what sits behind the fragrance. They want to know the story. They want to understand how it's meant to make them feel, not just pick it up, put it on, go out the door and don't think about it again.
Yeah.
That's, at least in my mind, how we separate niche perfumery from mainstream perfumery.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I agree with you. Slightly off note,
Yeah.
slight challenge, not too much, but yeah. Although there's plenty of fragrances out there that
Yeah.
will challenge the hell out of your nose as well.
But that's part of the creativity, I think, of the brand and many of the niche brands, I guess, what you're saying.
The perfumers kind of have full control, which is kind of fun. As a perfumer, like, it's almost like you're doing a commission for a painting, it's not as fun as just painting the thing and seeing if someone likes it. If you're painting for like a concept that, for someone else, it's a different thing, So I think with allowing the perfumer to have their way with, I'll cut that. Allowing the perfume to do their magic. And I think, with big companies, maybe that's not as easy because there's a brief you have to hit and a target market. And I think with this, I was just like, bring on the ink, let it rain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So with the spearmint note, we haven't had a lot of experience with spearmint, at least on the show, in terms of diving into the note. We've certainly smelt spearmint or minty notes in fragrances. One of my favourite sort of summer ones is Beach Hut Man by Amouage.
Oh, yeah.
Also love an Australian brand called Milano, who we've also had on the show. Have a fragrance called Vert. It has a really minty note, which we absolutely love.
And I love Nemurhi from Piosum as
Absolutely.
well, which
They've
has
all
also got a bit of a mint.
Yeah, but
in it,
they're all very different. They do not present like it does in this fragrance. So I guess tell us a little bit about the spearmint note. Is it an actual note or is it an accord?
It's a bit of both. It's a spearmint oil, but as well as little things to buffer it out because spearmint doesn't last long. So you want to, like many top notes, it won't last long. So I needed to use different things to prolong its life, its half-life. It's and you don't want the spearmint to just suddenly vanish. You want it to sort of gradually fade out, because as much as you want it to last the full how many hours, it just won't. So with this one, I did use pure spearmint oil, and then built around that with different molecules and. Maybe there's a little black pepper in there with the ink and just to keep it spicy. But I do love black pepper. If I could just wear black pepper on my skin, I would. But I don't think it's good for the skin. But so there's a little things around there, peppered around it. I know, literal pepper around it, and some green molecules just to bring it into the heart.
Okay, so you've got some supporting notes in there, and I can already smell. The spearmint has not gone away.
No.
But when we first sprayed it on, spearmint was sitting at the front and those more mineralic notes were sitting at the back.
Yeah.
And already it's starting to just sort of flip. Yeah. So more mineralic forward now and a bit more of the spearmint sitting in the background. It's still there on my skin.
Yeah.
But again, that's what's happening on my skin. What's happening on yours, Robin?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's still quite strong. The spearmint is still quite strong.
It's still there, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to be here a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Just, I guess the balance is sort of flipping for me on my skin. But again, I run a little bit hot, which often means that, I progress through the fragrance a little bit quicker.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't wear citrus because of that. I'm so hot. Yeah. I'm so warm. Actually, can I smell you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See?
I like that on you. Better on you than me.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes that happens, and this weird dramatic irony where the ones I'd like to wear out in public, they're not the ones that really suit me, And I think it's always interesting with the warm. Are you more of a cold-blooded killer?
That's me.
Yeah.
He just
I'm boring.
evolves more quickly on his skin
Yeah.
with most fragrances.
Yeah, because I feel like some fragrances, this is the fun part. The skin changes so much.
Yeah.
So with this one, I'm quite surprised, to be honest, the spearmint is still with us. I thought it would leave us sooner, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's definitely hanging around. Yeah, and certainly.
And normally sweeter notes pop up a little bit more on your skin too.
The spearmint is more prominent on your skin than it is mine now, and I think that's to do with the body heat, to be honest. So, I'm the kind of guy who has to run the air conditioning at night because I do run quite hot. Drives my daughter mad. She's like, so cold.
The rest of us are freezing, but
Honestly, I've actually read that that's better for you to sleep when you're cold and shivering.
It helps your body get into that mode where it switches on for sleep.
That's
so
right.
that's my excuse.
I always wake up in a mock sweat. I have nightmares. I kind of love it. I love a nightmare though.
Oh.
It's the inspiration for the next fragrance.
Yes, exactly.
Nightmare material.
Fantastic. All right, so we've gone through some notes. We can probably park it for a little while, just while we're letting it evolve, and before we start getting into those heart notes. So. Last time you were on the show, obviously we dived into your background, and so people can go back and listen to that episode if they want to get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah.
What we'd like to know is, what have you been up to for the last year?
Oh my gosh. I've been up to quite a bit. Later in last year, I did a collaboration with brand, Gabe Gordon. We did a new fragrance, Hard Body, and that was quite fun. It was like a latexy rose fragrance that, Gabe loves a rose. So he always wants a rose in his fragrances. And for that one, it was kind of like rosewater condoms. That was my inspiration. I don't know if that exists, but
I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
So there's so many different
Right,
varieties.
yeah. Someone should make them. But basically, I was that latexy note because his show has some latex themes, and we were like leaning into that. And and it was quite fun. We launched that. It's pretty much, I would say, the weirdest fragrance I've ever done. I don't know if he knows. I say that often because it is it's very rosy, very leathery, very latex.
Sounds
It
interesting.
really does.
I should have brought some today. Sorry. His inspiration was the movie Crash. Like that was his reference.
yes.
He always gives me a movie
Okay.
to watch.
Yep.
When I have
That was a disturbing movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
That's
Okay.
James Spader, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Cronenberg.
Yeah, the Cronenberg. Yeah.
So there was a bit of that metallic car, darkness to it. But when you smell, some people when they spray that fragrance are like, I smell like an alien. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of alien. And then from there, I've been working on some little collaborations here and there. But I guess a big thing I've been doing is the film. I'm not saying what it's called.
All right, we're going to dart
Yeah.
around the name
Yeah.
of the film. So, it is obviously it's not out yet, and so we can't talk too much about it.
Yeah.
But I guess so much of you and your identity and your brand's identity, I think, are just so intertwined with your filmmaking. It would be really interesting for our listeners to understand. How do you? Is it just when projects pop up, or is this something that you do on the side as a bit of an ongoing thing in your life? How do you actually get into
How are
films?
you
Like,
juggling all of
yeah.
this?
Oh, yeah.
talk us through it.
I mean, well, I don't have a social life. That's how I juggle it. You have to cut one thing out. I'm like, all right, sorry, friends. I'll see you in like 6 months. But honestly, when I don't know the right response for that because I don't have a classical approach to filmmaking. What I love about the film that we're working on now is it was actually something we had in mind, and my brother and I wrote it together. We're co-directing it. It's a feature. It's our first kind of proper feature film, self-funded. It's independent. Everyone who's working on it it's a very like passion project. It's going to take a while to finish. Like we've all agreed that that's okay because everyone's coming together to work on it. Skeleton crew, have DOP, who's also a producer, and then we have sometimes the camera assistant. We have the sound, and then we have the lighting, and then we just have the actors. So very bare bones.
Yeah.
And it's actually been almost like re-energizing my life. It's been so fun. And to be honest, this is a movie that we wanted to make, my brother and I, in like 2018. So it's not not a short process. It's a long thing. So I think when you're self-funding or doing it on your own, it takes forever. And I think you could the one thing is if you're going to do it, just do it. Find people who understand your vision. I'm lucky enough that, we kind of had to shelve it, but luckily we had someone come on board, Carl, our DOP, who was also the producer, who knew exactly what we wanted and could bring it to life. It was just kind of a lucky strike, not a streak. Maybe it's a lucky streak. Maybe if it keeps happening.
If it continues.
Yeah. But that was just and that wasn't something I was planning on. So in the way of, how do you get into film or how do you start a film? I think you just have to find someone who has a camera. Because nowadays, I don't know, it's really hard. Everyone is just so time poor. And you just need to find people who are hungry enough to do it and maybe to do it for free because we're all working, all last week. We did five 11-hour days last week, like back to back. And we had some 4 a.m. starts, which for someone like me, I don't get up till like noon. Like that was hard, but you get through it because you love it so much. But it's what it started. It kind of started as a horror, and then it's really turned into a comedy. I know it sounds like a big leap, but I actually think those two things are kind of like they're like siblings. They're like twins. Like one's an evil twin, one's a good twin. But they're both very dramatic expressions of a story, Like comedy's dramatic in its own way as horror is. And so I guess now it's like become a dark comedy. And the more we create and chip away at it, it's like a marble sculpture. Just every day it feels more like what it's meant to be, and it's just such a beautiful feeling to have. And I think it's rare. I'm really grateful that I get to, find time to do this. Albeit it's been like so many years in the making, but this year is the year we're shooting it, which is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Well, aren't you on trend at the moment? Because
Yeah.
comedy horrors or dark comedies, I mean, Widow's Bay, have you heard of
I
Widow's Bay?
just started it. So fun.
I mean, this is on trend
My
right
DOP
now.
told me to watch it because he's like, it looks beautiful, and it does.
It does.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful, really intelligent storytelting. It is a horror with elements of
Yeah,
comedy, right?
yeah.
So it's like a dark comedy, and it's where people are sort of leaning to. So
Yeah.
inadvertently, you're on on
I've always
on
been
trend.
On trend.
I've always been a bit of a
Trendsetter.
horror comedy kind of guy. I mean, I'm just like the generation who grew up on like scary movies. So like, we had a very warped sense of humor, I think. We kind of, and did you watch the new one? No, it wasn't very. Actually, I won't say how good it was or how bad it was. But it's just funny
No.
because it is coming back. Even the fact that Scary Movie had a new sequel with the original.
Oh,
cast,
no, we haven't watched the new
We
one.
haven't seen it yet.
You don't need to see it. But
Yeah.
basically, it's like, it's again tapped into the culture. It's like this is becoming more of a thing. Even with like Obsession, I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, no,
our
our
daughter
kid
has.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a horror, but it's so funny. It's really hard to explain. Like there's moments where people were laughing in the cinema, and then some people were like, "Why are you laughing?" But I think it's meant to be. I mean, the director makes comedy. Like that's what he was doing, comedy sketches before that. So I feel like if you're in comedy, you're in horror. Like they come together. Like you just see the world a very specific way, or you can filter it in a certain way, and they just work together. Like I don't think I'll ever make a drama film, like a serious drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's either
Yeah.
serious, scary, or stupid and funny, I think. But right now, it's somewhere in the middle of that.
Well, never say never, because you're only young,
Yes.
and
Am I?
there's a long way to go.
Yes.
There is a long way to go. So, tell me this movie, and I know we can't talk too much about it because we're filming it.
Yeah.
We're filming it. Is it being filmed here in Australia?
Yeah.
It is.
Originally, we wanted to do it in Queensland, but things kept changing, and we were like, you know what? Let's just get it done in Melbourne. I don't know why. I thought by doing it in a new place, it would make it, I don't know, easier for me. But it's hard to find inspiration in your own city sometimes when you're
Yeah.
born and
Yeah.
raised. And
Yeah.
But, like it's something about it. It just works this time. And we've been building sets. Like, if we're like, oh, we can't get this space. All right, let's build it ourselves, which has been really fun. Kind of goes back to my VCA days of like sculpture. And, it's nice to reignite that. And yeah, but this film, I don't know, who knows when it's going to be finished. You'll be the first to know, or among the first. But I think you'll enjoy it. I mean, I don't know. Do you like scary stuff?
I do.
And do you like dark comedy?
I do like
Yeah.
a dark.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like a dark
You'll
comedy.
like it.
I like scary stuff, but not all of it. There's some things that
Oh,
I
no.
don't
Oh, of
like, which
course.
he loves it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's like perfume. It's a little like that. Some people love ouds, some people hate them. Yeah.
I traumatized her a few years ago with Wolf Creek.
Oh,
and,
that's pretty dark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
no.
very dark, and she's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to watch
No.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's creepy.
Still
Fair
feel
enough.
the same
Yeah, fair
about
enough.
that.
Yeah, it's a
Kind of-
pretty
yeah,
brutal one.
That was brutal. But I think this isn't that dark. This is more light, but like you're like, should I be laughing? That's kind of. But honestly, this is so my brother and I co-direct and co-wrote. So it's been so fun doing something collaborative, like creatively speaking, because the perfume is all me, and I'm pretty much just talking to the walls. So when it comes to the film, it's like we're all, even with the DOP, we're all problem solving together and working out how to get things done. And it's just been so fun to do that, and to almost like have a, when you create something as a group, it changes the dynamic of the creative process.
So you've mentioned this DOP a couple
Yeah.
of times,
Yeah.
but for those people who don't come from the film world,
Oh, sorry.
what does that acronym stand for?
Director of photography,
The
Oh,
director of
photography.
photography.
which is also like the cinematographer.
Okay.
But it's like he's almost beyond that. He's like that's why he's also the producer, because he's also helping make the sets. He goes, I can do it, and he like makes things, and he's a genius. So it's a really good trio we have together, and we have a lot of friends and starring in the film, which is nice because it's just like easy to work with your friends, and you just have so much fun. But we'll see how it turns out. It might be really bad. No, it won't.
I'm
No,
sure it'll be
no, it'll be
great.
really good,
Sounds good.
and I'm really excited for it. But unfortunately, I can't say what it's about or what it's called because I'm just very superstitious. You know what I mean? And we know I am.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, we do.
Yeah.
And it's okay not to give too
Yeah,
much
of
away, right?
course.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and we can do a
Yeah.
little bit of a build up to
Yeah.
this. What I would love to see
Yeah.
is, you know, when your film is ready to go and you do a local screening, we would love to come.
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we can match
Yeah.
some of your
Yes.
fragrances to some of the
Yes,
scenes
I
to make it
love
a whole experience.
That would be something. We could
actually
put
very
it
clever.
in the background and
Hmm.
project it and go through the scenes, and I'm down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At certain points in the film, there's a certain fragrance that matches the scene
Yeah.
and draws you a little bit
Oh.
further in. I reckon that'd be a really
Oh,
cool
that's exciting.
experience.
4D, and like the perfume gets sprayed into the cinema.
Oh,
yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get it arranged.
Yeah, I love
All right, so you're filming locally.
Yes.
You're filming with local Australian talent.
Yeah.
It's in production now, and hopefully it'll be coming out at some point in the future. In the next
2027.
2027. But
Yeah.
let's not hold you to it. It's when the creative process finishes.
Finishes.
I think
Yeah.
people do underestimate what it takes to make a film.
Oh.
When we hear that, you know, this indie film did it on a shoestring, that shoestring's like $1 million, right?
Oh,
so
yeah. We don't have that.
No.
So it's even slower.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it costs a lot of money. You're asking people
Yeah.
to do things for free on their own time, so it'll get done when it gets
Yes.
done.
It's almost like an IOU. You write down things and you say, I promise it'll be worth your time.
Yeah. We'll circle back to it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
In the meantime,
yeah.
spray spray.
Yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
smell
Well,
great.
sometimes I just have to, for people's time, I'm like, do you like perfume? They'll say yes, even if they don't.
Everybody
Yeah,
does.
yeah, exactly. I hope so.
So how do you manage your time then for the fragrance brand? How are
Yeah.
you juggling that?
It's funny. I feel like me and Time this year, Time and I have been a little bit of enemies. Like I never have enough time. I think this is why the autumn collection took so long to finish, because you cannot do one thing wholeheartedly. No, you can't do two things wholeheartedly at the same time. It's just, unfortunately, the nature of creativity and inspiration. And I saw a psychic who told me I'm a manifesting generator and she said, whatever you're inspired by on the day, that's what you have to do. You can't force yourself to do the thing properly. If you wake up and you go, movie time, then it's movie time. If I wake up and go perfume, which is annoying for people at home who are waiting for their orders, no. But I think I just definitely have to carve out my schedule. And I'm a night owl, so I'll go to my studio and be there till very late. I probably should change my sleep schedule, because right now it's like, I'm into the studio into the wee hours and filling up perfume and filtering and creating. And, I always trick myself into creating more fragrances. We're talking about spring collections on my mind. So there's I think in a way the less time you have is like, it gives you more time. Is that an irony? I don't know. Like, it feels like when you know that you have things to do, you
Yeah.
just get them done. And I think that works for me. I think nothing has changed too much in terms of the
output.
the output. Yeah, like I'm still addicted to my brand, and just as much as my film. But I think with the film, it's like there's other people involved who take the load off, which is great.
Yeah. And as you said, this is a very solitary pursuit
It
where,
is,
where,
yeah.
where it's obviously wonderful to
Yeah.
also
Thank
have a collaboration and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. And like, with the perfume, it's like once you've made the big batch, I like to let it sit for a while. So it's like you can do other things while it macerates, and, but I mean, I would love to have these autumn discovery sets out earlier. I mean, autumn was in a few months ago. We're in winter now, but autumn in America is coming up.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm on a California time.
Absolutely. And as we said, we're obviously smelling Hush Money now.
Yeah.
Yes, it's in the autumn collection, but it's absolutely suitable probably
Yeah.
for every season. But
Yeah.
definitely as we're coming up into spring,
For sure.
it's perfect. Going into
Yes.
summer, it's perfect. If you want to smell light and fresh and
Yeah.
clean during winter, you can wear it then. We don't need to pigeonhole it into autumn.
That's
it's just
right.
part of the autumn collection.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all it is. So
And that's like similar with like Pretty Boy, for example, from the winter. It's an all year fragrance. Maybe Bully is more wintry, like full stop. But then you have Pretty Boy, you have I think Nightstand could be worn in spring. Like, I'm not very much. I think we all have our own, as we were saying before, like body heat. So like that's more important than the weather, I think. What if it smells like on you at any given time, So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, up until recently, I always used to think white florals is more summery for me. But over this winter, I've been loving
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
nice.
think
It's like a
it's
tuberose in the cold. It's quite
Mm,
cool.
yeah.
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 So I think, you also people's way to wear perfume can change at any time depending where
Yeah.
you are on your journey and
Yes.
what you're enjoying. So
Or you just
Yeah.
wake up in a
everything
mood and you
goes.
feel
Hmm,
rosy.
Yeah, and it can
exactly.
smell different in different weathers.
Yeah.
So, a particular note in a very cold environment does actually smell quite different to a very hot environment. So sometimes you just get a different
Yeah.
facet of it, a
Perspective,
different
yeah.
expectation,
Mm,
a different experience, I should say, not expectation.
mm.
It's,
But then we can also layer, can't we? So we can
Yes.
take a freshie
Yeah.
and we can layer it with a more wintry one to get an entirely different experience as well. So
That's
it's
right.
really endless what you can do.
I know that's the fun part.
Mm.
And I was thinking this on the way here with the Hush Money. It's kind of almost a barbershop fragrance. So if you wanted to push that, you get a geranium fragrance on top and layer them, and you can get into that territory if that's something you're into.
It does feel like one that you could definitely layer with
Yeah.
and get a little bit experimental
Yes.
with, and would be quite forgiving of a lot of different combinations. So,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you. I know you are very busy, right? You've got a lot on, but being busy is also about keeping up momentum. All right. So
Yeah.
you're constantly moving forward. We're always staggered by just
Yeah.
the range that you've got, how many
Oh,
things that
yeah.
you've got going on at one time, how much you can produce in a very, very short period. It's amazing. But I think it's because you keep yourself very busy, and so
Yeah.
you're constantly moving the ball forward. You don't feel stuck.
Yeah, totally.
So you're constantly in that forward momentum. And we know busy, right?
Yeah,
We're
of course.
podcast,
Yeah.
perfumery, full-time
Yeah.
job, teenagers. We know busy as well. And it just keeps us moving forward,
Yeah.
and we don't feel stagnant. I think the worst thing that can happen, particularly when you're a creative person, is big periods of stopping.
Oh,
Oh, so
the
bad.
block
Yeah.
that you hear about.
Yeah.
I know. That I've actually,
Mm.
I mean, I feel like I had that with, there's a section of this year where I had that where there was no filming happening and I couldn't get to the studio and do the things I wanted to do. And it was almost, I think it was important to maybe have a moment away and come back because, with the film, for example, when you're away from filming, you go, oh, I miss it. And it's kind of a night, because when you're in it, you're like in this survival mode of getting every shot you need in a limited time. And if you run on cortisol, and then I think that's why everyone screams at each other on set, and then when you leave set, it's fine. But everyone's like, go this way, no. But I think, you're right. Keep the momentum because the stopping sucks. And I think, for me, I'm like, I've been, as you said, pushing forward, even if it means my hairline's going back because of the stress. But keeping that forward at least is really important, that momentum. Sisyphean, with the rock. But I think it's limitations I put on myself. I could open up the brand and have more people involved, but it's just not where I'm at right now. And I think, I like to be busy. I realize that.
I can understand. You've got a very particular DNA, which I don't think you can quite understand until you've actually smelt multiples from the brand. But there is a DNA that runs through it, and it's hard to actually peg it down. You sense it when you smell it.
Yeah,
There's something about the brand that you go, that's distinctly Perdrisât.
Cool.
But you need to smell all of them to really get an understanding of, that's right, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I can understand how you would want to just make sure that you hold on to that until you really want to open it up, because you don't want to sacrifice any of that.
No, exactly. And I know a lot of people who are working on different sort of olfactive things. They do have a little. So, I mean, I know a few people who work on different like perfume or essential oil kind of brands, and they have some issues with expanding. And so it's interesting to see people refer that to me. And I've heard some horror stories. I've heard some happy stories. But, as someone who's like got the rat wheel brain, I'm just like, all right, I'm happy doing it myself for now, even if it means I'm just, missing a few hours sleep. And everyone's like, where are you? And I'm like, still in the studio. Yeah, I don't smoke. It feels like I
feels
do.
like it.
You can sleep when you're dead.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you can also insert some of your DNA into some of these collaborations that you've done. So just to, I think we'd do a disservice if we didn't revisit it before we went to the heart notes. So the brand that you mentioned earlier in this segment, what was the name of that brand again?
Gabe Gordon.
Gabe Gordon.
And there's two fragrances we did together. So the first one was Horseplay, and then the second one was Hard Body. And Horseplay was like this kind of a roll in the hay kind of scent. And then Hard Body is, the latexy metallic car smell. Um, Obviously both rose fragrances, but very different directions. I'd say you can, I think they're so different to what I present because they are a collaboration, and I think you should smell them. And you can smell them at, there's a few places that stock them. If you're in America, obviously you can get them at Cape Gordon. But if you are in Australia, I do believe, oh wait, I stock them.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. But also like there's a few places online. It's all on my website, so you can see where
Okay.
they're stocked.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
thank
So
you.
Gabe Gordon is a US based brand,
Yes.
and that's why you quite often head over to LA and
Yeah.
you know.
I'm like, don't tell the Americans that. Maybe we'll cut that in case I get like put on the arrested.
No. He's visiting.
Yeah.
He's a tourist.
I have a lot of friends in the States. No, but I think it's funny because I actually met Gabe in Melbourne. He did a pop-up here and we got along because we both like Lana Del Rey and horror.
Mm.
Obviously, a lot of people can fall into that category. But we just started talking and then he was like, I want a fragrance for my brand. I was like, let's do it. And then it became this long-term thing. And, you know, we're in talks about doing another one. And then on the same time, the first collaboration I did was with Lucy Folk, which is an Australian brand. And the first fragrances was actually a duo. It was Coeur de Bois and Fleur de Sel. So Fleur de Sel is like a salty rose, and then Coeur de Bois is like more of a trio of woods. We're thinking Palo Santo, with like sandal, a lot of sandalwood, to the point where I'm like, Lucy, this is a lot of sandalwood, like Indian sandalwood, like the pricey stuff, and as well as Gaiac wood. So if you like a creamy, woody, slightly smoky, Coeur de Bois is your thing. If you like a salty seaside rose, you know, Lucy, when I think of Lucy, I think of like the beach. So I wanted to do something beachy. So I thought, how would Perdrisât do a beachy scent? And so, of course, slam a rose into the ocean, which is actually what I did to get some content. Like, just threw some roses, port roses, into the sea. And, you know, I didn't let them, I took them out, don't worry, but had the petals. But I was thinking, I really like that idea of like playing on the pun of fleur de sel, which is like sea salt. Which is what you know, you get those big flaky fleur de sel, which means flower of salt or salt flower. So I was like, what is a salt flower? Like, you know, and what does a salty flower smell like? So it's kind of fun. I think I like salt. I think that's an ongoing.
It's a bit of a theme that's starting to come
that's
through.
My theme. Could that be my DNA? The salt thing is quite fun, especially after a whole, you know, maybe 10 years of sugar, like sweetness. I like to play with the sweetness too. Love Bomb, Coquette. All very sweet fragrances, but yeah, there's I'm kind of in a salty mood.
All right.
It's salty.
Very good.
Yeah, there's a salty one over there.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I think we've probably had enough time now to sort of go through the initial part of the dry down for the opening notes. So I think we should maybe transition into our heart notes. What do you think?
Yeah, let's go for it. So before we do that, let's just go back to the perfume pyramid just for a moment. And the heart notes form the center of the perfume pyramid. And they really are the soul of the fragrance, the essence of the perfume. They tend to start to appear once those top notes have faded or started to dissipate. And they help form a smooth transition from those bright top notes through to the deeper, denser base notes. This edition of Olfactive Melbourne is proudly sponsored by Silver Australia. Silver Australia design and shape their jewellery in their studio in Melbourne, and they're pleased to offer Olfactive Melbourne customers 20% off when you use the code MASA20. And so let's talk about the heart notes and the essence of the fragrance.
It's so funny because the heart note for this is, as you say, it's a big part of the character. But for this fragrance, for Hush Money, the main heart note is violet, which is very hard to pick up and smell for some people. And I think, again, it's like adding to the thematic secrecy of the fragrance. Some people cannot smell violet. It's the molecule of violet is the violet molecules are too large for a lot of people's, like for the brain, basically. When the molecules are large, the brain, I think I mentioned this when I first came on the show. Yeah. It shuts it off.
I think it was with Iris.
Iris.
Yeah, Iris.
Yeah.
Iris and violet's sort of like twins. So they use ionones. And so ionones are kind of more of a classic perfume material. We do not really get them as much as, you know, they're not in fashion. But I like them. I like violet. I think violet is the most underrated note in fragrance. I mean, maybe I'm not wrong. Le Labo just released a violet fragrance, so maybe it's coming back. But for me, you will see facets of violet in like nightstand, porcelain. Bully has a violet note, and so like I think there's an addiction to violet for me. I had to put in this fragrance because mint and violet together felt like a very romantic pairing. And I was very much I was thinking about what that transition from the top to the heart would be like with the what's my accent be like? I was thinking about the spearmint fading away into the heart, and what is a soft sort of heart for that? And I think violet just sits in this beautiful, romantic, strange world. And I think the fact that not everyone can pick up on it is kind of fun. And it also smells so different on different body temperatures, different people. I would say for me, this is a slightly greener violet than the violet you would find in porcelain or nightstand or iris. Sorry, not iris, or bully. With bully, it's more of a soft, leathery violet. With this, it's a bit more green because, you have there's a green facet to violet. Some people smell like cucumber and they think violet. So maybe there might be a little.
I'm smelling the violets. I'd be intrigued to if you do become anosmic to violet, what you'll smell. You'll probably get some of the vetiver.
Yeah, that's right.
In there,
poking through.
Yeah, poking through.
Yeah, I feel like I can smell something green. I don't know that I would know how to if it was violet or anything else, but I'm starting to also get a little bit of the leathery scent.
Okay, the ink is coming through for you for sure. I mean, that's the interesting thing with the heart and the top, and it kind of blurs. It's like a dream sequence.
I have a smell.
Oh, see, I definitely get the powdery.
Oh, that's interesting. I want to lean over. I feel like I might crash.
Go over there.
All right, I'm going to move it out the way.
I'll try. Oh, yeah. Okay, see, I think it smells the worst on me. That's the irony. No, I shouldn't say that. I think it smells really beautifully mineral on you, and then it's almost, it's still fresh and green and crisp on you. Or at least from when I last smelled it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
The violet's stronger on you, for sure.
That's what I'm really getting, which is why I'm quite intrigued as to, like, what would be your scent experience of this if you were anosmic to violet? It probably would be like a greeny vetiver type of smell, wouldn't it? So
I think
really
so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think when you take out the violet, at least psychologically, like your brain can't smell the violet. Maybe the vetiver and the sort of the clashingness of the mint and having that it would be probably maybe smell more masculine.
Yeah.
Slightly, just slightly more.
Interesting. So you've used vetiver in here in the heart as well.
Yes.
That's quite an interesting choice because what we've found in smelling quite a lot of fragrances is that vetiver is quite often found in the base rather than in the heart. So what's with the choice to put it into the heart?
It's sort of sitting in almost the lower heart. Lower heart. That's sad.
The lower
heart. The lower heart.
The cockles of the heart.
Yes, that's it. Right before, it bleeds into whatever the heart does. I don't even know. Whatever's going on there. Look, it's interesting because, the vetiver almost bridges the base and the heart for me in this way. And I think it's just I didn't overdo the vetiver.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's not in the base. I think it's just a subtle touch that gives it the earthiness. I do think vetiver is quite chameleon in its place in perfumery. Sometimes it almost annoys me because I love vetiver. All the types. You got bourbon, vetiver, vetiver bourbon, vetiver Java, and then you have other ones like Haiti is probably the most known. Java's smoky, bourbon's kind of rich, and then the Haiti one's more grassy to some people. To me, it smells more grapefruity, like grapefruit peel. That's why you always see the grapefruit and vetiver like always paired.
I never knew that. That's news to me.
Yeah. When you get a grapefruit, literally cut it with your nail and just smell it, and you have a vetiver sort of strange. There's a molecule called nutketone, and that is, I think, why they're connected. Yeah. You also get nutketone from. I'm probably saying that so wrong. You get nutketone from certain cedarwoods. So there's little sort of connections happening there. And so you can see why they work so well together with with this, it's like, the violet and vetiver. I think violet and vetiver is a classic combination. And with the spearmint, again, it's almost barbershop in that way, almost like a fougere, almost. It's not classically, so don't come for me. But it's it it's almost there, just out of reach. So it's kind of a nice approach because I don't love barbershop fragrances, I will say. I've attempted them over and over again, and I just, trying to make them more, how would I interpret a barbershop fragrance? But there's something about tonka bean that makes me feel a bit sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know if it makes you sick. Because I feel, I don't know what it is in the tonka. It's like, ooh, it's like sour.
Yeah, it's also quite
It's
difficult.
different from what you expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to modernise a barbershop fragrance as well. They
yeah,
often
it's very
leak into that old world
Yes,
smell by
that's right.
default, and that's not the DNA of your
No,
brand. So
no, that's true.
it would be in conflict.
Fair enough.
Good point. I've never thought of it like
Yeah,
that. That's so
it's
true. But yeah, vetiver here also adds to the inkiness. And I guess that's almost referential to Encre Noire by, who's it by again?
Encre Noire is Lalique.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, cut that bit out. Keep that bit in. But yeah, so because Encre Noire is a vetiver fragrance, so it's almost like there is an inkiness to vetiver. So it felt wrong to not include vetiver at all, and also it does bridge the kind of woodiness that comes through in the base.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
It's not a smoky one to my nose.
I
Though.
used bourbon vetiver,
The bourbon.
so it's more rich, more
Right.
more ooey gooey.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I mean, if you're listening and you're familiar with Encre Noire by Lalique, they're not the same. This is not the same.
not
So
the same at
Lalique
all.
is quite a like a mossy,
Yes.
earthy
Yeah.
vetiver that you're getting here. This is a little bit more of a lot with the theme. We've got those quite light summer, autumn, notes. Whereas I get Lalique's quite dense. The Encre Noire is quite dense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so quite different, but
Yes.
similar sort of DNA
Yeah.
with the vetiver.
Exactly. I think because Encre Noire means like black ink, so it's like interesting because that was probably the first fragrance to suggest ink that I know of in the kind of modern world. So having that as a reference, I mean, I didn't have it as a reference, but having that as a thematically, like how people interpret ink is very different. So in that perfume, it's very vetiver heavy, some molecules like cashmere, and whereas for me, it was leaning into the sort of minerality, which is almost a texture rather than like a note. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
building that texture.
It's great. That is also a great fragrance on Crate Noir.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're not all that familiar with niche perfumery, if you're new to slightly more challenging notes, it's a great one to get your hands on because it's
is,
$50-$60,
Yeah.
and you're getting like a niche quality fragrance that will challenge you a little bit, but not too much. It's a great little first toe in the pool,
in the inky
in the ink pool before you dive into some more challenging ones.
That's right.
So,
yeah, there's probably so many ink fragrances out there that are very dark as well because you can take it into that direction. You think of black ink spilling across the page. It's quite fun. It's a fun theme. Yeah.
Absolutely. What's that one by Zoologist? The squid.
The squid.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
could
squid.
smell
squid.
that.
And I think there's the one by Danown as well, like calligraphy or something
yeah,
like that.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the you should try the squid one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's quite. I think it's one of the more popular ones, isn't it, from Zoologists?
Might be.
Yeah.
Not sure.
It might be. I mean, we're more leaning towards the Australian perfumes, so it's where we spend most of our time. But I think from hearing things that it is one of the more popular ones.
Yeah, nice.
Definitely one of the more curious ones.
Yeah, it's got a great picture on the bottle anyway.
I'm trying to build in my I remember they always have fun pictures on there. On that
Absolutely.
labels,
Yeah, it's got a nice brand identity.
Yes,
I
exactly.
quite like it. It's quite
Yeah,
cute. It's quite cute.
It's interesting how different the paper is to the skin too.
It's
Yeah,
It's almost
very much.
on the paper. It's almost stopped at a point.
Yeah, it's sort of almost, and this is why we like to put it on the skin, right? Because when we put it onto a blotter, I tell you, I'll revisit this tomorrow,
Yeah,
and it will still have elements of the opening
for sure.
notes in there.
Like even for me right now, the inkiness is like very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny how you've managed to squeeze that longevity out of that spearmint
I don't know how I did it.
because it's still there.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I'm like, go away.
Yeah.
It sort of lifts everything?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I'm not sure how far in. We're probably at least half an hour in, and it's still
Yes.
there. So it's amazing. Whatever you've done there to support
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
still carrying through. Obviously, it's taking a bit of a back step as our heart notes are coming forward a little bit more, but it is still there, and it's
nice.
quite well rounded, and it's quite complex.
It'll be interesting when we step out into this cold weather and see how it, because I feel like they say cold weather is really good for perfume. You can really get more of it.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
so it'd be interesting to all smell our hands outside.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All right, so we're going to let this one settle down
Yes.
for a little bit longer. Now, we said at the top of the show that we're doing things a little bit differently this time. So normally what we would do at this part of the show is we'd say, okay, Callum, let's talk about the rest of your range, and we'd open up a whole bunch of different perfumes. But we did that last show.
Yes, we
so
did.
we're actually just going to be going through one fragrance. But the reason why we can get away with it today is for a rather unique reason. So we're going to be having a look at Crocodile Tears. And the reason why we're doing it in this segment is you mentioned to us, we haven't smelt it before, but this fragrance is quite linear.
Yes.
So just to explain a linear fragrance here to our audience, linear might sound like we're being derogatory towards the fragrance, but that's actually not the case at all. We often will talk about a fragrance in terms of that perfume pyramid where we've got opening notes, heart notes, base notes, and we work our way through.
Thank you.
Opening notes start to dissipate, make way for heart notes, so on and so forth. And we go through this sort of story of evolution. But not all perfumes unfold in the same way. Some break the pyramid altogether.
That's right.
And you can sort of smell all things all at once for a consistent period of time. So that's what we sort of mean by linear in this. It's not that it's a basic fragrance, it's that it holds its profile.
It's very much, I was talking about film stills before. To me, this is very much a film still. It's a scene, but it's like screenshot, you know, because this is very specific. I wanted this to smell like you are in a fight and someone has thrown a dirty martini in your face. And that is kind of what you're getting. So the notes are gin and olive brine.
Wow.
Yeah. Very martini. I think it was so much fun to make this one because, I mean, the research alone.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But no, honestly, like building that olive brine accord and feeling a bit like evil for doing this because I'm like, who wants to smell like olive brine? But I just feel like it had to happen for me, especially after like I had so much sweetness in my world and I was trying to, I mean, my life is sweet, but I mean, the perfume world is full of sugar. And so I wanted to get salty. I wanted to get really briny. And this one was really fun to make in that way. So I really am very aware of like the longevity of this is great, but it doesn't change all that much. Like it is a very screenshotty film still type of scent. So I think, I sound very TikTok when I said that. But you know what I mean? Like it's very
well,
like,
we're smelling in the opening.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty consistent all the way through the
right.
fragrance.
I'm really glad we decided to put this on skin as well
Oh my God.
it's extremely different.
This is amazing. This is amazing. I can't believe how photorealistic
It's
this dirty
just-
martini is. This is. I can smell the olives.
I want
inside
one.
of the
I
gin.
want one.
Let's
right
get one
now.
right now.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I love a boozy
Me too,
fragrance. I think I was raving last time about whiskey because
Yes.
I absolutely love
so
whiskey
that's
as
great
well.
fragrance.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
My dad loves it as well, by the
really?
way. And
Oh,
it's
I
just
love
'cause,
that.
again, it's so sort of photorealistic
Yeah.
and like you smell and go, oh my God, that
Yeah.
smells like it's just
Lafroy.
poured into a bottle.
Yeah.
This is very similar, and I'm blocking my own microphone here because I'm smelling
It's
it so
not
much.
very often that I get the mental image, but
Yeah.
I've got it.
Wow.
You know,
I
it's-
love that.
How
It's so
can
cool.
you not
I
have
know.
it?
It's like
Yeah.
smells sort of delicious from
Yeah.
the olive, so it's
Yeah.
got that
Yeah.
gourmandiness
It is.
to
It's
it.
the weirdest gourmand I've ever made.
Yet it's not. It's like not a gourmand. It's gourmandy.
Yeah. It's
hard to describe.
It was
It's very
so
unique.
Fun. It was so fun to make this fragrance. I did a few variations. Actually, both of these fragrances went through very many versions. I would say Hush Money had a lot. It had so many faces, so much work done. It had so many different interpretations. But with this one, I was like a dog with a bone. I was like, get that olive brine, get it together, make it. Because to me, the gin accord is quite fun and something I've hinted at in last word, a little bit of that with certain notes. But for this, I was like, it had to be front and center with the olives, like these two notes, just bang on. Like they've been shaken in front of you, shaken, not stirred. It's actually, I think they
So
call
Bond.
I know. Right? There is a word for it when you a bruised martini. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure that's what they call
okay.
it. If you're a bartender, let me know if that's fake. When you want it bruised, it's like when they shake it so much that it's so cold, and that's kind of what I wanted to evoke, this cold martini.
Yeah, I think you've got that.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and I think with this fragrance, I was like a bit, I was a bit proud of myself. I'm like, I don't know how I achieved the olive thing. I do know how because I made it, but like, I don't know. I went through there's 4 major versions. Some were more sticky, some were more fatty, some were more fresh. And so it was fresher, I should say, but it was very much, it's hard to know when you've done something and when you just go, this is the one, but
Yeah.
for this one, it kind of spoke to me, and I had to wear it through different occasions. I had the 4 going on, and it's interesting because on paper, again, on skin, different. So with this one, this was the one on skin that I felt evoked the image of the
Yeah.
dirty martini. And, yeah, so fun. And Crocodile Tears is, again, it's like that idea of the saltiness, the fake tears, the drama, the melodrama. Again, this kind of Hollywood scene. I don't know if you've been to Museau and Frank's, but something like that, where you're just, having a dirty martini lunch and then a fight breaks out. And as I think it says a lot about, it really captures the brand as well, I think, in terms of the image I'm throwing at you, but also the way I take away the notes and just tell you what you need to know. And you can go on from there. It's almost on my skin as it dries down. It's like the same notes, but obviously there's pink pepper, juniper, all those little notes you get in gin, they kind of fade away eventually. So you're kind of left with the brine, which some people might be happy about, some people won't be. But I think, in this era of sugar, let's go briny.
Yeah. And I would think, if you're watching this show or you're listening and you go, oh, I don't like the idea of smelling like olives, that's not really what you're getting here. You are getting a dirty martini.
Yeah.
You're getting an actual cocktail, which is a combination of these smells that actually, it smells fantastic.
It's quite fascinating, actually, because while I've been smelling it, I've been sort of thinking to myself, can I wear this fragrance?
Yeah.
And although it, as you said, it's quite photorealistic, it's also wearable.
100%.
Cool.
This is a night at Le Bar in Beaumaris.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Drinking a cocktail and enjoying a burlesque show. That's what I'm seeing.
That's cool.
I still smell, like you said, there's other things that sort of wafting in and out, even though it's very much that, that bang olive brine. Yeah.
It evokes a scene for me.
Cool.
So the scene I get is the end of Gone with the Wind, where he turns around to Scarlett O'Hara and he says, "Frankly, dear, I don't give a damn," except he's got a dirty martini and he throws it in her face. That's the scene I get.
You got it. That's it. Like, that's exactly the energy, I think. And what I like about it is when you wear it, you're the one who's been thrown on. Like, or the martini's on you now.
Yep.
So it's like, what have you done? Like, and it's like this amazing kind of, perfumes are meant to make you feel a certain way, and this perfume makes you almost feel like you're the villain. Almost like you've done something wrong. Or have you? Or is this person being dramatic and they're, it's throwing it on you because, it's like that.
Yeah.
So maybe I've been watching too many, like, drama. But, like, I do like that, like, the melodrama of it all. And I think making something melodramatic on paper, but then wearable, it's like, it does take a little bit. I had to pull back some notes. The balancing act, which is what a perfumer's job is, I guess. And for this, it was really fun to do. And I kept it under wraps because I was thinking, is this a bit literally like, I kept it under wraps because I felt like it was too much. It was too itself. But I think it's important. It's like with the summer collection, and we had porcelain, which was the clay and the wet clay note. And so I always have these things that stick out on their own. With winter, there was Last Word, which was kind of almost like a cousin to both of these fragrances. And then with this one, it's like, this isn't as much as a character as it is the other. The others are more characteristic. Daddy, Starfucker, Coquette, they're very much portraits. And then Hush Money is almost like a scene. And then this feels like that moment captured. Yeah. And I think it's two people in this fragrance, the fighting, the glamorous drama. I love it. So I really liked making that one. I like making all of them, but this one kind of, it was like a secret favorite. I don't know. I just like, let's go salty.
Got a great name as well. I mean, Crocodile Tears is a fantastic name for a perfume, I've got to say.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. I think it's a fun way to suggest everything about the brand,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I can see now, I can see why you suggested that we do this fragrance at this point in the show.
Yeah.
It is remaining really consistent on my skin. So what we're going to get as this evolves over time is the cocktail is just going to stay prominent.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the way through this one. Will there, I mean, obviously we'll be wearing this down a hand for a couple of hours. Will there be any sort of change in the fragrance as it dries down?
Yeah, I think there will be. You're right. So with the gin, there's juniper berry, pink pepper. These are very fast evaporating molecules. So there will be a slight change. I think the major tone of the fragrance stays the same, but the little aromatics dissolve away, and then you get more of that fatty saltiness that sticks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see.
A bit like probably completing the cocktail. So when you first get it,
eat the olive.
it's got a smell.
Yeah.
And you eat, as you said,
It's
eat
cold,
the olive, and
it's
and
fresh.
you get that. And then at
Yeah.
the end, there's an empty glass sitting there that's got a
Yeah.
remnant of a smell. You'll probably
Yeah.
get that as the
Exactly.
fragrance unfolds as well.
Yeah, which is, it's pretty much the whole process of, as you said, drinking the martini.
Yeah, going through that
Yeah.
scene, as you
Yeah.
said. This
Yeah.
one's a scene rather than just a
Yes.
snapshot. This
Yeah.
is the crocodile tears, the thrown martini, the fight,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And then just
fantastic.
finish it all eating the olive and going home.
Absolutely
so
lovely
it's very
fragrance.
fun.
I don't
One
think
thing that I would
yeah.
say is to our listeners and our audience, you have to try it on skin.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's almost well, for me the olive is just so much more pronounced on the skin.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because it actually occurred to me to mention that as well, and then sort of got caught up with other parts of the conversation. But I smelt it on the blotter, then I smelt it on my skin, and the blotter just actually can't do it justice.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's one of those ones where you actually do
Yeah.
need to wear it on skin.
Yeah, I think so.
It's there.
It's there.
You have
It's
to
almost-
But
really,
it's more the alcohol that
Yeah.
smell, I think,
That's salt.
somehow.
a
maybe
bit more
salt.
salty than it is
Yeah.
olivey. But again, everybody smells things a little bit differently as well.
Right,
So,
that's
wear it on both.
Yeah.
Definitely have both. But this is just a lesson that you have for all fragrances, right? So,
True.
as you're out shopping for fragrances, whether you get one of our experiences packs at Olfactive Perfumery, or whether you pop down to Law, or wherever you pick these fragrances up, don't just spray it on a blotter and make a decision. Also, don't just spray it on your skin and make a decision. Spray on your skin and go for a coffee, and come back an hour later, and then you'll know whether you actually like that fragrance or not, because we've got to go through this dry down period to really understand the full evolution of the fragrance, because
It's true.
opening notes don't last that long unless it's a linear fragrance, in which it stays there for the whole
Pretty
way through.
consistent. Yeah, it's true. It's it's important, I think, to I just don't believe in blind buying, which I know sounds wrong, because a lot of people blind buy fragrances all the time.
Absolutely.
But I think it's really good to try them and see how you go, because you'll see someone online who says, this is the best summer fragrance I've ever had, and then you try it and it's like, it has nothing to do with that. And there's so much that comes into it. It's your as we talked about earlier, it's your skin, but it's also your associations. Someone's going to smell this and get a hangover straight away. You know what I mean? And
They'll have
that's
some sort of
fine.
trauma.
Yeah, it's going to be
Their
it's
own
gonna be,
crocodile
how dare
tears.
you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that way what happens. Same with the spearmint, but I'm all for the spearmint rebrand. It's not just toothpaste.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree. It needs to make a bit of a comeback. There's not that many fragrances out there, at least that are being released now, that have that note. I mentioned Beach Hut Man. I'm not sure whether Beach Hut Man is mint or spearmint. I seem to remember it is a spearminty type smell, certainly on my skin. I think that's just being deleted by Amouage. So it used to be something that was prominent 20 years ago in their fragrances, and it's come to the end of its run.
Wow.
Why? because this is fresh and this
Yeah,
is, you know,
so
what,
cool.
yeah, you should be wearing this now.
Yes, let's go minty.
Go minty,
Go
absolutely.
minty, go salty, 2026, you know?
Especially when we're
That's it.
drowning in vanillas and we're drowning
So many
in,
vanillas.
yeah.
And I almost fell for the vanilla trap. I was going to release a vanilla with this collection, and that was one of the iterations of Hush Money. There was a vanilla version. There was a plum version. There was
Sounds
a
interesting.
really dark, as I mentioned earlier, dark, inky version that was smoky, but too similar to Bully Hush Money whiskey. I wanted to do something. Sorry, Bully Money Water whiskey. I wanted to do something that was set apart. I mean, the closest this is probably, like, as I said earlier, cousins to like Last Word in that sort of aromatic fresh green.
Yeah.
Because there's a slight mint note in Last Word, but it's just in the back being cute. But this one is like main character. I would say as well, like with, oh my god, I lost my train of thought. It's not out of character.
One thing that I did want to ask you though is that both of these fragrances sit within the autumn collection.
Yeah.
So we've got a summer, which is complete.
Yes.
We've got a winter that's
Done.
complete.
Yeah.
Is autumn now complete, or is there more to go?
Autumn is ready to go. Ready
Complete.
to
Not
It's
launched,
fun.
not launched.
but ready to go.
I think maybe by the time people watch this, it will be ready because maybe we can time it together. But, you know, it's, as we are speaking here now, it's not launched. It's ready to go. I have the sample sets ready to be experienced. We've got Daddy, Starfucker, Coquette, Crocodile Tears, and Hush Money all together in one pack, which is really fun because it's been a long time since I've launched a sample set. Actually a few years. So it's a new sample set. Really fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, got some good characters in there.
Fantastic. Well, we'll make sure that it is ready for our viewers. So obviously, you are a stockist at the Olfactive Melbourne Perfumery. So we will release this fragrance on the day that we drop the episode. So for our listeners, you'll be able to access the fragrance. It may take a little bit longer as it starts to leak out into other suppliers. So have a little bit of patience. But I guess the reason why I was asking this is you mentioned, or you sort of inferred a little bit earlier in the conversation that your mind's already started to move onto spring. Yep. So you're already thinking about starting to formulate those.
I have the names.
You got the names
characters
already?
already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Got the names. That's kind of, I actually had 7, so I've cut 2, which is really sad. So maybe there'll be a, you know, they'll come up
Second
later.
spring.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so spring's been on my mind for a while. Spring will be a little late this year. I don't know if you know the song. But I think, yeah, maybe next year, 2020. I can't believe it's 7. That's crazy.
I know.
2027 spring. But for now, enjoy the autumn, and maybe we'll do a launch of one of the springs. I know I was meant to do something spooky last year.
Yes.
I had this like executive decision where I thought maybe the spooky floral can be in spring because we in Australia have Halloween during spring.
I like where you're going with this.
Even though it goes against the Celtic calendar, which is, you know, where Halloween's from. We have it in spring, so may as well have a Halloween spring, which is odd, but the Australians will get it.
Yes.
And I think I know exactly what I'm going to do for that. And I have the name, but I think I might have to change it. It might be too offensive. Seriously, I have limits.
But, yeah, I was going to say.
I have limits. I do. Well,
I don't believe you.
maybe I'll do the director's cut. Yeah.
Just put a little asterisk or something there.
It's nice. Yeah.
I would love for you to, continue to challenge people with the names and the fragrances. So if it is out there, I mean, the people who stock you, like us and Laura and all of these other perfumeries, they back you on all of this sort of stuff. So put it out there, right? We're not bleeping anything out. So definitely go with whatever your instinct is.
I love language. I love playing with language. You know, it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all part of the color of being a human being and speaking our language.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
All right. So you've got the names.
Yes.
You've started formulating, at least in your head. Have you started physically formulating
I have.
it?
Oh, I know. It's very interesting because I almost see it as it stands now. And I think I could maybe get 2 out there before the year's over. I can't promise you. I feel like now that I said that, again, superstitious, I've jinxed myself. But I do believe 2 are ready to be experienced. And one of them has such a good name. I'm scared someone's going to take it. So
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do some. Maybe I will have to release it now. But I think, yeah, I can see the world building. I think for me, it might be a focus on florals. And I know it's like that meme, spring for floral. No, what is it? Florals for spring.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what does she say? Like in Devil is Prada, she says that whole extraordinary or revolutionary or whatever.
Oh,
But,
yes.
it's that sort of thing. But, Perdrisât take on florals, which will be, we've got a spooky floral, we've got a
I can't
mineral
wait.
floral.
Yeah.
We'll see how we go.
Mm.
But but like all these fragrances, they're not specifically seasonal. It's just more for my own mind to cap myself at otherwise I'd be releasing like 20 at a time.
Yeah. We're always staggered by just how many you've got in your range,
Yes.
considering how long
And
you've
how-
been around.
Yeah.
So
How creative you are all the
Oh,
time, just
Thank you.
creating more and doing things all the
absolutely.
time.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
OCD, just like always, But you know what? I really appreciate that because I feel like having these seasonal things, it does help with the world building, I think.
Mm.
I wouldn't have had the whole autumnal breakdown of these characters in this scene if it weren't for that limit I put on myself. And I think that's, important for these because you need to give everyone their moment. So, started with winter.
Yep.
6 months later, we did summer. Like, what is it? 2 years later, 3, 4 years later, now we're doing autumn.
Yeah.
The jump won't be as big for the next one, I promise.
Absolutely. And then we'll see where we go from there. So we've done all the seasons.
the
So what will be
seasons.
next?
I've got
after you've-
ideas. I've got ideas.
Oh.
I have no doubt that you do.
I've got some fun
Yes.
things in my mind.
Mm.
Thinking about a way of getting things that never really made the final cut, if you know what I mean.
Mm.
So that's
We can't wait to
Yeah.
see where the journey goes
Yeah,
with Perdrisât because
absolutely.
honestly,
Mm.
the creativity is it's so immense. You have got so much of it inside you. That's why you produce so much.
thank you.
I don't think it's OCD. I think it's just
No.
you need to get it out.
Yeah.
And so it just pours
Yeah.
out of you in terms of fragrances. And I have a strong suspicion that we'll probably see at least some teasers of
Yeah.
the spring collection coming out before
I
the end
reckon.
of the year.
I think so. I think there's 2 I have in mind that need to be have their flavor, have their time.
Released.
Yeah.
So you touched on something interesting there, and just before we do get into
Yeah.
into the base notes, that you're a little bit worried that someone might take the name.
Mm.
So can you legally protect a name of a
I
of
don't
a perfume
know.
or
I don't
know
know.
if you can.
I don't know if you can. I mean, I haven't trademarking something is very difficult, I think, especially I'm not sure if it's something I worry about, but I think, after I released Fuckboy, another brand did that a few years later and
Mm.
it's just what happens.
so they've got their fuck boy, but
Yeah.
they smell like different
Very
fragrances.
different. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
probably it's not something you need to worry about all that
I think
much.
as long as people know that what's yours and what's theirs, that's fine. I think I released Daddy and I didn't realize there's a few daddies out there already. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think people get it. Like,
Hmm.
I should have done my research. But there's I don't know what the trademark or if you can do that. But I think when it comes to art, it's just like let it out in the world and see how it goes. And yeah,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's each brand does their own
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
So the Perdrisât Daddy is going to be very different to any
Yes.
other brand's Daddy,
Yes.
and the same with anything else, and even with certain notes. So we talked about the cocaine
yeah,
note,
yeah,
and other people have done a cocaine note. It was sort of
Yeah.
on trend there for a
Yeah.
little while, but
yeah.
none of those smell the same.
No,
No,
exactly.
of course
Because
not.
it's an accord, and
Yeah.
all those chords are built
Yeah,
differently as well. So
fantastical. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so you can still have your own identity, but I can understand why you would want to.
If
Yeah.
you know you've
Get
got
yours
so-
out
a
there
great
first.
name,
Yeah,
yes,
this
of
name feels
course.
like I'm kind of surprised it's not out there already. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it's a Mercury retrograde right now, so maybe I've just totally jinxed myself completely. But yeah, I think having that in the world sooner rather than later will be good for me, at least for my creativity, so I can just move on to the next one because there's
Yeah.
5 to work on, and this one's like a bit of a princess. So let's get it out.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see it.
It
and of
sounds like
course-
it's nagging on you.
I know, I'm like-
Get it out.
So of course you'll have to come back to the show
Oh,
when
for
we're
sure.
ready to
Yeah.
to release the next one because
Definitely.
we'd love to
It'd be so fun.
We love to be selfish and get our nose on it
I was
first.
going to say,
Of
you'll be the
course.
first I call for sure. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so we've had a fair bit of time to let the fragrance dry down. So let's return to Hush Money. We'll get stuck into our base notes, but again, before we do, let's just quickly explain the base notes. So, just for the last time for this show, we're going to have the perfume pyramid appearing on your screen. We're now at the very bottom of the pyramid, so we're at our base notes. So at the very top of the show, I talked about our opening notes, where it was made up of very light and very volatile molecules that were designed to surface in the fragrance and dissipate, early and then dissipate quite quickly. When we think about our base notes, flip the script. All right, it's the opposite. We're talking about quite dense, quite heavy, and quite persistent notes. Those are the notes that stick to our skin and they last for the longest duration. So when we smell our fragrance hours or many, many hours later, it's actually mostly the base notes. When I explain the perfume pyramid, though, it is not quite as straightforward as the opening notes disappear and our heart notes disappear, and then we're just left with the base notes. There's still remnants of the opening and the heart notes there, but it's predominantly the base notes that we're left with. This show is proudly sponsored by Watchvault, Australia's premier destination for luxury and vintage timepieces. Every watch is trusted, verified, and ready for its next chapter. Visit watchvault.com.au to discover your next timeless investment. So, with all of that explained, let's have another smell. We'll smell the blotter as well, and you can take us through our base notes.
I feel like this fragrance is what's the word? It's progressing in slow motion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I still smell the ink and the spearmint.
Yeah, I'm still getting a bit of spearmint.
Yeah. But for me, more than ever, the vetiver is quite still strong on me. So I think when we were talking about the vetiver before, I had still the inky note on my skin, but now it's very vetiver heavy on my skin. But the base is pretty much a soft cotton base. I was thinking about when the cash is picked up, what's left? It's like old pillow, hotel pillow.
The bag.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cotton pillow that's sitting there. And I think to do that, I use like soft words and masks to just cushion it all and, leave you feeling like, the money is now in your pocket and you can run out as soon as you can. So for me, I still get very much vetiver. You'll see in the cotton note, there's a cleanness to it. It's clean.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of evoke that. I think that cleanliness will come through on different people.
Yeah. I feel like mine's evolved quite a bit now.
Yeah.
And it does, in my mind, it's that expensive hotel kind of scent, which maybe it's the story that I'm hearing, that I'm connecting, the linen on the bed or the pillow. Yeah. I really love how it's drying down. Smell that.
Yeah, it smells really nice on you, I've got to
It
say.
smells really good now.
Yeah, have a smell of mine.
Some people might be dirtier on some people and cleaner on others. I think that's the biggest.
Oh, yeah.
I think, and it's the same with like these notes, like ink, vetiver, particularly can be dirty on people.
Yeah.
And then with the cotton accord I've made, again, another fantasy dropped in there. Because, cotton is something that it's that fantastical image of like plush, cozy, but then also has that little starchiness that I wanted to create. And so like playing with that texture that I always go on about, like have a shot every time I say minerality or texture. But yeah, so with the cotton, it's like cotton and vetiver are kind of working together to evoke that sort of pillowy hotel mood. But for me, it's a little dirty. Maybe I'll smell it on you.
Yeah, of course.
I actually think it smells quite clean on Robin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is a you fragrance. This is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did smell dirtier before, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's not clean. It's dirty
now
money.
it's-
That's dirty hush money.
Hush
Yeah.
money. Absolutely.
There's such
But
thing as
now I
clean
really
money.
like it. Yeah, it's really nice.
Absolutely. I am still getting the bit of a there as well.
Same. Yeah.
I think we've touched on bridging notes before on the show.
Yeah.
And for those of you who haven't maybe seen some of those shows, bridging notes are the notes that help us get from our opening to our heart or from our heart to our base. So they help sort of facilitate a smooth transition between notes. So it's not just a harsh transition from one type of note to another note.
Yeah.
I think the vetiver here actually provides a nice bridge through to those woody type notes in the base. So it's actually good that it's hanging around there. But then you start to get that creamy, woody, fluffy, sort of comfy thing that you get from the cotton as well.
That's right. Yeah. I think it will happen over the next few hours. I think it'll slowly become fluffier and creamier. I think that's why I was very adamant we give Hush Money its time in the sun, because it does change so much on the skin. And as we've all seen today, it's like very different on everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is, again, a really good lesson for why you need to put things on your skin, because between the three of us, it's all smelt quite different. I'm actually shocked at how dramatically different it is between the two of us. When I say different, you can still smell that this is Hush Money. Yeah. It's the same fragrance, right? But it's just what's being expressed at any given time. So there are certain notes that are coming forward on Robin's skin more than they're coming forward on mine. And there's other notes that are coming forward more on mine. And that's why we've got a slightly different experience of exactly the same scent.
And it's weird because sometimes you can really find, if you need to, the spearmint comes back. Like if I really focus, I can see it buried at the base.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm still getting the mineralic.
Yes.
Which is sort of
that's quite persistent all the way
right?
through.
So hard to describe. It's like trying to describe music in a dream.
Absolutely. It's one of the persistent notes that carries all the way through this fragrance. Like the backbone of it is the mineral.
Yeah.
So it's a mineralic fragrance.
I would say so too.
Yeah. So it's a good way to sort of describe it, which also is why it's probably so versatile as well. So this is something that you'll wear in summer, it's something you'll wear in spring. So if you're waiting for the spring fragrances, you don't need to wait. You've already got this here, but it's autumn as well. So very versatile, and it is the middle of winter.
Chilly.
It's chilly. It's actually it's on the cooler side in this room as well, and I think that's actually helping this fragrance. And it feels like you can wear this in winter as well. So this is all season, super versatile, casual type of fragrance. You could really wear it.
I feel like if people come in after us, they're gonna be like, "What is the smell in here?" Because it's gonna be a lot of going on, These two fragrances. Yeah,
I've got to say, people love coming into this room after we've been in here because it always smells fantastic in here. Good. So, fantastic. Well, this honestly has been such a great experience of these two brand new fragrances. Now, we mentioned earlier, it's as of today, they are not released, but this episode is due to release in July. If you are listening to it now, it is now available on the Olfactive Perfumery. So go to olfactiveperfumery.com and you'll be able to get the fragrance. We obviously do our experience pack. So if you want to try it first, before you actually buy a full bottle, you can get a 4 ml fragrance, and you can select both of them, all of them. You can chop them up with other fragrances that you've seen on the show, so you get to experience it before you actually buy the full bottle. You can come back to Olfactive Perfumery and buy a full bottle, or you can go directly to Callum's site and you can buy it from there as well. And what is your website?
Perdrisâtperfume.com.
Fantastic. So that's on the screen, rolling across the screen for you right now. Well, also for those people who are listening in their car or they're on a jog right now and they're listening to this and they haven't been able to see that on the screen, we're going to put it into the description of both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So go there. We'll also have a profile, as we always do, on Callum and on Perdrisât on our podcast website, which is olfactive.com.au on your website, on your screen right now. There we'll have a link directly through to Callum's website. Popping up on your screen right now as well is a QR code. So if you haven't managed to write any of that down, just pick up your phone, scan the QR code. You'll be taken straight to olfactive.com.au, where you'll be able to find the Perdrisât website and navigate your way through from there.
I still don't know how to use QR codes. I don't know how they work. They're amazing.
They are so handy.
They're very easy.
Yeah.
Okay, really?
Absolutely.
I should get them.
It is just the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
We've actually thought about just sort of putting QR codes on the car as well, so
Oh my
that
gosh, Bang.
yeah, while you're there,
Yeah.
even though you shouldn't really be handling your phone in the car, it's just a good way to get
Assume
to a
you're
website.
parked.
Assuming you're parked and you're doing everything
Yeah, yeah.
legally.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very, very handy. So if you haven't used QR codes much, it's so much easier for people. So, or you can take a photo of it and you can come back to it later. And as soon as you open it up in your phone, it'll say that you can click through to the website.
Wow, it's so interesting because there's so many things I just don't understand. Like, if anyone asks me how the electricity works, I'm like, I don't know. I just accept it. The internet, don't know what it is. We just use it every day. Don't know where it is. Like this. So let's add QR codes to the list.
Well, we're getting into this age now where we deliberately actually don't know how things work. So we were talking about Claude before the show. So we're talking about AI.
Yeah.
Can't remember why we were talking about it, but we were talking about it. And it's like a little black box that even the people who are creating it now don't actually understand how it works.
Sounds like a horror film.
Well, the Terminator's coming for us at some point, isn't it?
Sounds like Hellraiser. Like, the little box or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, creepy. I think maybe that's like the aliens took over and we just have to accept what they brought us. That's the new conspiracy theory, I think. We're just like, oh yeah, cool. Thanks for that. And it's fed to us.
We could be stuck in the Matrix, right? We could be asleep right now. This could be a holographic universe.
That'd be sad. I like this life. I'm having fun. Don't wake me.
Oh, exactly. Who knows what's next? But well, you do.
Yeah.
So we've obviously spoken a bit about what's coming up next for you.
Yeah.
So you're working, or at least thinking about and somewhat formulating spring fragrances.
Yeah.
You have mentioned during this show that you do collaborate with other brands. Are you thinking about collaborating with other brands moving forward?
I have an ongoing collaboration that's happening. It's just, things taking over, but it's in the works, and that will be really fun if that comes out this year. If not, that's okay. But I've got a few things in the pipeline, as they say, and but I think my focus now is like making sure this autumn collection gets to the people it needs to get to, and maybe spoon feeding everyone else with the spring collection, and then making this movie and just making sure everyone's happy with the brand, happy with the movie, replying to emails on time. Sorry about that, guys.
We're used to it.
It's okay.
When you work with creatives, you have to be you have to be patient.
I have to be patient with
Absolutely.
myself. Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, my internal monologue is insane.
It's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
We should probably ask
Yeah.
if somebody was trying your brand for the first time, where would you suggest that they begin? Is there
Well, I think the correct answer is all roads lead to Fuckboy, because it is the fragrance that sums up the temperament or like the persona of the brand, and it's playful, it's fun, it's not serious. And I think that's important to know that we're like, as a brand, where each perfume is a story, and that's very much a character within the broader story. And I think, it's like an icebreaker, like cocaine, what? And I think that's nice to just be like, get that one out of the way,
Yeah.
smell it. It's some people love it, some people won't, and then from there, I would say porcelain, because it's so different and it's so quiet. And I think having those two together, something that's, Fuckboy is an attitude, whereas porcelain is a softness and delicacy. Is that the word? Delicateness or delicacy?
Elegant.
Elegance. Yeah, it has that elegance where it's very different on the temperament of the brand, and that's where we can go. We can go from playful, silly to a little bit more, sophisticated. That kind of spectrum. And if you really want to get down to the trio, then I'd do Money Water, because that is the one I wear the most. So it kind of says a lot about me as a perfumer.
Right.
Minerality, texture, those three fragrances contain all of that. So I think it gives you a little bit about the broader DNA of the perfume brand. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think when we, it's hard to pin down Perdrisât as this is what you are.
Yes.
Your brand is a spectrum,
Yeah.
and that spectrum is playful, challenging, extreme on one end to delicate and refined on the other,
Totally.
and everything in between. So
So
really,
good. That's good. I love
it's
that.
all about imagery. It's almost
Yeah.
Definitely.
it's almost born in Hollywood, the
Yeah.
Australian Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely, when I think about Perdrisât, what do I think? I think it is a playful brand.
Yes.
It doesn't take itself too seriously, although it is a serious brand. And if you want to feel playful, and if you want to feel a little bit naughty, and if you want to feel like you're not a part of the herd, and you want to stand out just a little bit,
Yeah.
this is the brand that you want to get your nose on. That's
Thank you. It's so lovely.
So
Thank
cute.
you.
well, we're obviously big fans. We've had you
of
back
course we are.
twice. We've got you in our store.
Yeah.
We love
I
Perdrisât. We
really
wear it a
love
lot.
that. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
beautiful fragrances.
Thank
And
you.
so thank you so much for coming along.
Oh my God, it's been so fun. Thank you so much.
We're going to have to do it again relatively
Yes,
soon,
I
depending
think
on
so. Let's-
on your
Let's lock in September.
All right, we'll see.
fantastic. We're not going to hold you to it, but absolutely, every time you release something new, we'd love to get you back on the
Yes.
show. Obviously, we love that you've been a big supporter of the Effective Melbourne Perfumery and the whole idea around the experience packs. The more, I think I mentioned this to you before the show, the more you come onto the show and we can do these masterclasses, the more the experience packs become meaningful to the people who are buying them and going through them. So we'd love to have you back on again to do yet another masterclass.
I'm more than happy to. It's so fun.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank
It
you.
has been a blast, as it always is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, thank you to our listeners as well. We really appreciate all your support. So if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a like or perhaps leave us a comment. And we look forward to seeing you next time for another episode of Olfactive Melbourne.
thank you
Thank you.
and goodbye.
Thank you.